ahead, questions.
What's the latest on these?
You know, Zeke, we had everybody come in this morning except for Brendan and the Ware twins because of their class schedule on Tuesdays. But everybody else shot this morning. He shot particularly well this morning. You know, in the second half of the game, he was really unsure because he didn't know if it was broke or what it was. They splinted it, but he was unsure. Now that he kind of knows what it is, and we had an X-ray done today, but we don't expect that's going to change. It's not changing anything. But he has a full-time splint that he has to work 24 hours a day on this joint, his middle finger on his right hand. So from here to here, he's going to have a joint. And you can see, my two fingers there? You see the bump right here in my left? That's a mallet finger. That's what happens. And what I thought happened, and we watched it, is that he was reaching out for the ball just came and hit it right here. You know, that's what happens. The ball just came and jammed his finger, and he actually heard it with his right hand, and I'm telling him to push it. And so he's dribbling with left hand only, passes one hand to Reeves, who goes all the way to make a layup, to make it 23-22, and then you know, we tried to take him out, but I didn't know. But you could see that this joint right here was just like bent down. He had no control over it. It was just, it ruptured the tendon is what it does. It's a ruptured tendon. So he should be okay. Everybody else, you know, bumps and bruises, but everybody else is okay. We took 2 days off. We watched the game in its entirety as a team on Sunday at 3 o'clock till about 5:30. And we had a long practice yesterday, and then came in this morning, and everybody shot. We'll have a shorter practice in the afternoon today, where we're going to go really hard, high intensity. Try to get better at a lot of things. We got to get better at transition defense. We really got hurt in that last game, transition defense. Not stopping the ball when we're supposed to. There's a lot of slippage of things that, you know, Washington did a great job of exposing because they push it so hard. Not doing a good job sprinting back with Brownie and Amming, who really hurt us early in that game. You know, we're going to have to change our, you know, and I vacillated all season long with Josh. Should he hedge? Should he plug? You know, and in retrospect, he probably should have been plugging all the way from the beginning to getting better and better at it. But he's going to be, he can't get out there and hedge right now like we want him to. So he's not going to be doing that as much. It's going to be more of a plug. I think that will help keep him out of foul trouble. Now he's going to be having little guards coming right at him and trying to cross him over. And his habit right now, and it's really hard for him to break it, is when you bring the ball at him and you cross over in front of him, he reaches. That's what he's always done. So he's going to have to learn to not reach, stay out of foul trouble, because we need him in the game. It hurt us to not have him in the game for major minutes. When he plays 25 minutes or more, it's better for us.
Going forward with Zeke, and worried that that could affect the shooting?
No, because he shot it. I didn't mention it. He shot it great this morning. Absolutely great. No problems. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, the first 50 shots we did this morning were stationary, 7 different spots on the floor. He made 41 out of 50. You know, from 15 to 17 feet. I mean, he shot it well. It's not, and I think it's given him confidence. Yes, I'm going to be able to play with this. Yeah, and assuming he'll be here, so you'll be able to ask him that yourself. But he shot it great this morning. Not good, great. Well, I mean, the bottom line is that you know, he's so big. So like when he gets going. And you got to give Thomas credit. Thomas really sold some of the fouls that he drew. There was like 4 fouls on different guys, you know, where he's just a little guy getting knocked off. And, you know, I mean, one time he had his hand all the way up Reeves' crotch and was grabbing onto his crotch, and everybody saw it except the official. And, you know, that was obviously not a good call for us. But, you know, that's the bottom line is, you know, I think in the future he will be able to do it. And he's still going to have to, you know, it's going to be hard. This isn't easy either. I mean, it doesn't make it any easier. It makes it harder for the guards because now they got a guy turning a corner and they got to be coming from behind and, you know, he's got to deal with them. So it's not an easy thing.
When you look at Well, not necessarily. I mean, it's the 5-man. It's the whole team. I mean, yeah, they have very good front court, and Stevenson and Nicola. I mean, Nicola's a leading rebounder in their conference. He led the league last year. I've said he's either the top player or one of the top 2 players in our league in terms of big guys for sure. He's averaging 16 and 10. I mean, he is a very, very good player. And they've had some outstanding wins at Tennessee, beating Texas at home, drilling Texas at home, actually. And then, they had a chance to beat Kansas just like we did at Kansas and could have easily come away with a win in that game. This is a very good team we're playing. And, the addition of the kid who had to sit out the first semester, Fontaine, has really helped him. He's athletic. He's shooting 50% from 3. He's very quick. He's a tough matchup. He gives him an added, scoring threat. And so they're good. A little point guard, the freshman's done a great job for him. His assist-to-turnover ratio is good for a guy, freshman, playing 37 minutes a game and never coming out. I didn't even know it was 3 games. I guess it was because we lost to him in the tournament. Darren's last year, right? And what's his name played great. The kid who went to Toronto. DeRozan, who played great in that game. We beat him twice that year, and then they beat us in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Your crosstown rival is a big deal. It's always a big deal. Yeah, I mean, our guys will be ready to play. They'll be ready to play. There'll be a great crowd. I'm sure it's UCLA and USC, and that's true in everything we compete with them, against them with. So is there added importance because it's crosstown? Always. And they approach it the same way as well. I mean, it's just how it is. Is that overall or in conference games? All games? We need to cut down on our turnovers. I like us, sharing the ball and being unselfish. I mean, one of the things that's always important to me as a coach is to have a team that's unselfish, that doesn't care who scores or how many points anybody gets, but it's all about winning, because that's how players get actually recognized, is by being a winner. I mean, Russell Westbrook left here as a 4th pick in the draft, averaging 12 points a game. We had great balance. And one thing I like about our team is we have good balance. We have 5 guys, I think, still averaging in double figures, which is good. And so does SC. It's 2 teams that are similar in that fashion, in that there's a lot of balance. And you always want that in a team. Our best teams since I've been here are teams that have balance, that have 4, 5, 6 guys in double figures. Having 5 is great. We've got to do a better job of just creating more open shots I think we're a pretty good shooting team. I mean, Zeke shoots it very well. Tyler shoots it well. Malcolm shoots it well. We've got a very good, I think Reeves is a good shooter and shot it really well this morning. We've got a lot of guys who can shoot well when they're open. And so the whole key is, one of the things I talk about, things we're working on this week, we've got to be a better screening team. We've got to screen better. Watching our screens in our last game is really painful because they're not good enough. I mean, if we screen for each other and get each other open, then we're a very good shooting team. Just, emphasize it more, knowing how to do it better. And definitely part of it's coaching, and then just the emphasis on it. Whatever we're doing, we got to execute better and set good screens for one another. I mean, our screens have got to be more physical. We got to hold them and stay into them. And we've had some really good screeners. Alfred Aboyo is one of the best screeners I've ever, seen. He was a great screener. And sometimes those guys, unless coaches point out, people don't notice it. I mean, it's such an important thing. Against zones for guys to screen, same thing. You said that most of our turnovers are Yeah, and it's just, it's something we have to keep emphasizing. I think we had a number of those in our last game. One of them, the guy reached from behind and smacked it out of Malcolm's hand. It was probably a foul, and they end up getting it back and getting a layup on it. I'm just trying to think of our last game, our turnovers. Like for example, Josh had 2 turnovers in the last game where they both called him on a moving screen. Well, I played him too many minutes in the last game. I was first to say it. 39 minutes is too much to expect. I should have played Lamb more or Jeremy more in those minutes, and I will in the future. Because you get appointed administrative attorney. Malcolm is, a very good player and a key guy for us and our best perimeter defender. And so I'm hoping, because first of all, you want to play the guys who are going to give you consistent defense. They're going to have guys playing the most, the guys that are playing the best defense for us, and he is. And so I'm hoping he can play, 34 minutes a game would be ideal, which is about, I think, what he's averaging on the season, 33. He was out for 2 games, and then he came back. Remember, he had the sprained ankle. He's had some things like that. But, yeah, and he shot it great this morning. I was really excited about how he shot it this morning, and these guys who shot this morning will shoot again on Thursday. Well, it comes at the right time because we have a lot of things to improve on and get better. And this, we're really trying to take that to heart in terms of the things we've got to improve on as a team. Like we talked about the transition defense or doing a better job with Josh plugging versus hedging and being able to stay in front of the ball and get better is, blocking out. Our blockouts have not been good. We historically have been a very good rebounding team, and we should be outboarding people. But we got to get more help from our guards. I pointed out to our guards that in the last weekend there, between Jeremy, Malcolm, and Zeke, I think they had 3 rebounds between the 3 of them in 150 minutes, or some ridiculous number low. And they did a good job because I talked about it yesterday in practice. All of them had at least 5 rebounds. We've got to get more rebounding out of Lamb and out of Malcolm Lee and out of Jeremy and out of Zeke. That's something that's really we got to get better at. And it's just an emphasis. They got to get in there, and help us because we need the best teams in the country every year. When you look at the end of the year and you start going, who's in the Sweet 16, who's in the Elite 8, who's in the Final Four, those teams are always killing their opponents night in and night out on the glass. Beating them by 7, 8, 9, 10 rebounds a game, and that's something we've got to get better at, and that starts with blocking out. Like he played, and we played good in both of those. When we got down, we want to come out and play with that same enthusiasm, that same level of sense of urgency at the beginning of games, as opposed to waiting until we get down. In the Washington State game, I think we were down as much as 11. Is that right? And then we were down 17 and cut it to 3 or 4 against Washington. And that's something that obviously we've got to get better at. We've got to have that sense of urgency right from the get-go. And the sense of urgency is at both ends of the floor. He's getting the points, and I think he had 19 and 10 actually against Washington. But we talked about that even watching the film. I said, look, let's not wait till we get to here. Let's play with that sense of urgency, always. Free throw shooting hurt us at the beginning of the first half of the Washington game. I think we're down 7 at the half, but we missed 1 or 2 front ends and one-on-ones. I think we were 11 or 12 for 19. And then when you're playing a really good team, which Washington is, you got to make your free throws. and I think we were 25 for 36, which is just under 70%, and we should be above that. And Josh didn't shoot it well in that game. I think he was 1 for 4 from the foul line. And, you know, my thing with Tyler Honeycutt is I want him to get to the line more. And we talked about that yesterday when we met together, is that, you know, we need him to get people and up in the air and draw fouls. Thanks.